What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen, live on this special edition of the Ravens Rundown because it is NFL free agency day 2, and so it's not going to be a normal one. You know, you're not going to see a bunch of different cuts. It's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of you guys talking to me talking to you guys asking me questions, me answering them. We're just going to chop it up, have a ton of fun today. And if you're already here, which I see a lot of you are, go ahead, give me a real one in the comment section down below. If you are here at the beginning of today's live show, you can see all the moves made an NFL free agency as they scroll through the top of the screen. Unfortunately, the Baltimore Ravens won't be featured a lot because, as we know, they have not made a ton of moves. In fact, they've only made 2, and they're the only team to not make an external move. Every other team across the National Football League has either traded for someone or they have signed someone outside of their current team. You know who hasn't? That's right, the Baltimore Ravens. They've made 2 deals that I really like, right? They've done 2 things that I'm really happy about. Love, 3-year, $60 million for Ronnie Stanley. Love, 1 year, fully guaranteed for Patrick Ricard. All of those things I'm happy about, but I wouldn't mind if they went out and did something maybe a little bit extra. Go ahead, give me those real ones in the comment section down below. We got Attendance Squad, Moggs, Papa Shook, Ravens 76 B More saying salute from South Florida. What's going on, my guy? Great to see you. Happy that you are here and rocking with us. Theo Jackson, a follower of myself on Instagram. Theo Jackson is actually. He is. He does. He is a former Tennessee Volunteer, and so when I worked for the Tennessee football team, him and I became decent friends. He's a really great guy. Make sure you guys are still letting me know when you guys are here in the comment section down below. Papa Shook saying, "Oh, I love those signings. Let's go ahead and re-sign Washington as well." Papa Shook, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I'm gonna be fully transparent with you here. I already have everything ready for a Ardarius Washington video. Got the thumbnail made, got everything else done. I'm just waiting for the news to happen, and then I'm going to go and film it when it does happen, okay? But I think that the writing is on the wall. I think it's only a matter of days, possibly a matter of hours, until Ardarius Washington, his contract is etched, and he becomes a Baltimore Ravens for more of an extended period of time. As you see all those moves filter through at the top of your screen, go ahead, get at the bottom of it, get in the chat, and grade NFL free agency for the Ravens. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F, okay? I'm going to actually talk about this at a pretty good length coming up here in a couple of minutes. But before I do, I want to hear your guys' grade, okay? When I see a couple, I'll give mine, and we'll chop it up and talk about it. Ravens Pro says, "Welcome back, Patrick Ricard." And by the way, Joey, I know we ain't big-time spenders, but we also don't want to lose picks if we did sign someone. Go Ravens. My thing is, Ravens Pro, is like, I don't know, you have 11 draft picks. You don't need 11 draft picks. You don't need 4 6-round selections. And so if they lose a pick or 2 or 3, I'm not going to be that mad about it. If they're going out and getting someone that's better, getting someone that's a proven asset in the NFL, But if they're just sitting on their hands and then just saying, you know what, we're going to fill all these roster holes, all these gaps in the roster with these 6-rounders that we've got, then, I don't know how I feel about that. Marcelo is giving them a C. Yaz is giving them a C. We have Papa Shook saying DK and GP are going to be a problem in Pittsburgh. Papa, I agree. However, I wouldn't be surprised if George Pickens is released at some point. Not released, I mean traded. I think that his tenure in Pittsburgh has kind of been wearing thin, I kind of think they're tired of him. They're tired of the George Pickens experience, I should say. A lot of complaining. hard to manage, not great for the locker room. Would not be surprised now that they've added DK Metcalf if they go and try to get something for Pickens. We got Papa Shook says, I'm getting Renee so far because we love Pat and Ronnie, and I'm happy they're sticking around. I wouldn't go A. I'm probably going to lean somewhere in the B range, okay? There's many things that they've done well, but there's also many things I kind of wish that they have done. Alrighty, we got a lot more to talk about. Before that, I need you guys to do me a favor, and that is take advantage of this incredible deal. I would consider all of us to be friends. And as friends, you like to point each other in the right directions. Well, let me point you to chatsports.com/RavensPolo, okay? It's getting a little warmer outside. The sleeves are coming off. Short sleeve, whether it's a t-shirt or a polo, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. It's like 82 degrees right now in Dallas. And if you want to get this Baltimore Ravens polo, gray, super sick, you get to rock your favorite team. It's only $33. Only $33. That's a limited time offer, a limited time deal. So to make sure you can take advantage of it, go to chatsports.com/RavensPolo. Jack just put it in the chat. If you guys have a relative, a friend, a husband, a wife, somebody coming up with a birthday, maybe you need it for a Father's Day gift in June and you just want to get ahead of yourself, take advantage of the deal. Chatsports.com/RavensPolo. If you take advantage of that, it helps us and gives us a little bit of those proceeds. So make sure to click that link, head over to chatsports.com/RavensPolo. Do you want the Ravens to make a move? If so, use the like button as a way to send a message to, Derek DeCosta, to John Harbaugh. They could be watching right now. We're not so sure. But if they are, make sure to like the video so that way they see there's a ton of people that kind of wish that we were making moves. Like it if you haven't already. We got 8 likes. We got to do better than that. Let's at least get to 15, okay? We got 9. Someone just liked it. Shout out to you. I gave this like read earlier in the video. If you guys missed the early video about Cooper Kupp, my sister actually had a baby this morning. I was already an uncle. Now I'm uncle times 2, I guess. My first nephew. I had a niece. Now I've got a nephew. So to say congrats to her, to me, to our entire family, go ahead and like that video as well, okay? If you can't like it for the Ravens, hopefully you can like it for me, my sister, and my new nephew. C-King, what's up, man? Have not seen you since the Buffalo game. Good to see you, my friend. Saying EDC's nickname, every dollar counts. Really true these days. Cheap. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He said, I can't wait to see our secondary cover DK, Pickens, and Pat F. Getting passes from Aaron Rodgers going to be so fun. I'm not so sure that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler. I'm not so sure. Okay, new reports coming in from Jack are that the Giants are looking pretty good. Who's reporting that, Jack? Okay. He doesn't remember where he saw it, but he saw it. I trust him. And so, yeah, just trust me, bro. So new reports are that Giants Aaron Rodgers is looking pretty good. Knowing the kind of person that Aaron Rodgers is, I would not expect him to sign by, I wouldn't expect him to sign today. I would expect him to keep this going as long as he can, keep the attention on him, try to get every dollar out of either of these teams that you can. C-King, or Hi says, what's up? What's going on? Hi, good to see you, man. C-King says, I just smashed that like button. Thank you, my friend. Papa Shook says, congratulations, Uncle Joey. You all shall smash the like button as well. So saith I, C-King. Amen. Augusto wants an engraven collab soon. Augusto, if you want to make it happen, slide into his DMs. See if he'd be willing to make it happen. I could be talked to about it. When I got the job hosting this channel, I actually reached out to Engraven. He reached back out to me. Great guy. Super nice. Attendant Squad said, Joey, do you see the Ravens getting Kupp? Actually talked about that earlier this morning. I do see that as a possibility. I think it'd be a really great fit. I would love if they manned up, made that move, made it happen. Go ahead, get in the comment section for me. Name your top NFL free agent target. I think mine at this point. Honestly, who is it, Jack? Is it Tyler Lockett? Joey Bosa, maybe? Yeah, he's not a free agent yet, though. If Cooper Kupp is looked at as a free agent, he's technically not yet, but if we're adding him into this context, I would say Cooper Kupp. But if I am, if we're sticking to the logistics of it all, I'd probably say Tyler Lockett. I don't know. It wasn't a great free agent class to begin with, and especially after 24 hours, 36 hours now almost of, free agency going on. There's just not that much left. Truly. C King says Ravens content flag football game. I'd be the QB, no doubt about it. Tossing dimes. I'd give my best Lamar Jackson impression. I'd maybe go Heisman on them. It'd be a good time. Augusto says, F it, let's get Justin Reed. He can be safety and kicker. I like it. Papa Shook says Tyler Lockett's staying in Seattle to run his real estate business, I believe. Oh, didn't hear about that. Didn't know that at all. Last time I was here was the Bills game. We came on the same boat. What's up, Sevalokai? Good to see you, man. If you guys are just now tuning in and you guys want to give a donation to the channel, we've got a super chat menu for you. If you have any questions or just want to get on the show, any amount of super chat will do. $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever it is. You'll get your question on the show. You'll get yourself, picture, name on the show as well. If you guys want me to take an Old Bay shot, I've got it right here. That's $5, okay? $10 will spin the wheel of mystery. Can't tell you what's going to be on it, but you'll see if someone super chats in $10. And then $20 gets you in the bank. Hear how many? That's a lot of names in there. Okay, that is a lot of names in there. I think it's almost 70 people right now. We'll be raffling this off at the NFL draft. And so if you want a chance to win it and you want your name in it to be a part of the Hall of Fame Super Chat Club here at the Ravens Rundown, go ahead and $20 Super Chat will get you in. Of course, if you guys would rather do Venmo or Cash App or anything like that. Ooh, Justin Reed Saints. Justin Reed has agreed with a deal for the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, seriously. $31.5 million. $22.25 million fully guaranteed. That's crazy, man. Anyway, if you guys want to send a donation, we truly do appreciate it. We actually, our record for donations during one of these midweek live streams, I think is like $25. So we could easily beat that with one. I'm not going to put the pressure on you, but you get what we're saying. Man, 31.5 for Justin Reed. Oh, okay, wait. Oh, that's 3 years, $31.5 million. Okay, so that's the totality of it. $22.25 million. We've talked a lot of free agency, a lot of Aaron Rodgers so far. Y'all let me know down below, who will Aaron Rodgers sign for? Will it be the Giants? Will it be the Steelers? You guys let me know your answer. Here's the breaking Justin Reed news down there. 3 years, $31.5 million, $22.25 million guaranteed. That, to me, is like kind of a good signing. Justin Reed is not like, I think he's a little bit better than just over $10.5 million a year. $22.525 million guaranteed. That's a good signing for New Orleans. They've been making a lot of moves over these last couple of hours. They just re-signed their tight end, was it Juwan Johnson? Yep. They re-signed Juwan Johnson, restructured Tyrann Mathieu. They signed Chase. Was Chase this morning? Oh, no, that was last night. Chase Young was late last night. They've been doing a lot, man. Louisiana native heading back home. But let's not talk Louisiana natives. Let's talk California natives. Aaron Rodgers, where's he going? Papa Shook says San Fran should sign Aaron Rodgers, but they won't. Yeah. It's either New York or it's Pittsburgh. Also, another question, would you guys be like, Ravens 76B more says Giants will sign Rodgers. Would you guys be scared of Pittsburgh if he's signed by the Steelers? If they sign Aaron Rodgers, how would you guys feel about this team going up against Pittsburgh in 2025? DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, Aaron Rodgers. It's a little scarier. I will say, though, as long as Arthur Smith is still their offensive coordinator, I'm not going to be that, scared about it. I'm just going to be, obviously I'll be more scared than I was, but still, I don't think Arthur Smith is a good offensive coordinator at all, and I think he'd still hold him back a little bit. Yeah, Jack? Former Bills punter is signing with the Panthers, Sam Martin. 1 year worth up to $3 million coming in from Ian Rappaport. Good for the Panthers, man. The Panthers have been very, very active.
The Panthers and the Jaguars do the same thing every year. They are always the teams that make the most signings.
Yep.
They are always at the forefront of making free agency signings, and yet every year they still suck.
You're not wrong. Maybe they're honestly, that might be just showing us that maybe the Baltimore Ravens' way of doing things, not making a ton of moves in free agency, not signing a ton of players in free agency, and kind of seeing your team how they have it now, and just saying, you know what? I'm kind of good with what we've got. Let's just run it back. Maybe that's the good way of doing things. Okay? Like you look at the top free agency spenders year after year. Top free agency spenders.
I think the
NFL.
thing that NFL free agency is a lot more quality than quantity, I think.
Yes.
And I think the teams that sign players of quality for the needs that they have, as opposed to just signing a bunch of players and figuring out where they go, those teams struggle, and the teams that sign for quantity tend to be better.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. If you look at the last 10 years, Carolina spent the most in 2024. They were awful in 2024. Denver spent the most in 2023. They were 8-9. Jacksonville spent the most in 2022. They were 9-8. New England spent the most in 2021. They were 10-7. And then in 2020, Miami spent the most. They were 10-6. New York spent the most. They went 7-9 in 2019. Then Chicago, they went 12-4 that year in 2018. Jacksonville spent the most in 2017. So it's usually what you'll see. Jacksonville then again in 2016. New York then again in 2015. Usually the picture that right there is painting is typically the franchises that are on the smaller and worse scale in the National Football League are typically the ones that spend a little bit more. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We are live every single Tuesday. Usually they don't look like this. This is a free agency special. Love doing this for you guys. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. A video every single... No! Wow. That's so fake. A video every single day. Yeah, that had to have been a bot. Videos every day. Live shows every single week. When the season rolls around, we'll be live for every single game. This is the best place to find the best news and the best coverage for the Baltimore Ravens. You got it right here, ladies and gentlemen. So subscribe, join the family, and do all of that great stuff. Alrighty, Jack, are we going to go into the first cut, you think? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to go into our first little cut. We're going to give a little bit of a free agency grade for the Baltimore Ravens, okay? We're going to talk about all the moves they've made. We're going to talk about all the people that they've lost. and we are going to give my grade, my thoughts, and kind of break everything all down. So make sure you guys stick around, like the video, share it with your friends if you think this stream needs more people in it, okay? It's up to you guys. Y'all can help me out. Y'all can help Jack out by sharing this, putting this out to the masses, and liking the video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It's free. Helps a ton of other people get in the stream. Alrighty, Jack, are we ready to roll? Let's do it. All right, free agency grades after day 2. They're coming at you live right now. Day 2 of NFL free agency, for the most part, has come and gone. And on today's show, I'm going to give you my grade for how I feel the Baltimore Ravens have done in the first 36 hours since the legal tampering period has started, okay? Before I get into any of that, though, make sure you guys are doing me a favor and grading it for me in the comment section down below. After this, I'm going to give you my grade, but before I give you mine, make sure to lock yours in the comment section. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F for how Baltimore has done so far. So my grade is a B. It's a solid B. It's one of those grades that your parents are never going to really be that mad about you. They're not really going to be that fired up or juiced up about, but it's just kind of one of those things it's fine. You know, they've done a fine job so far in NFL free agency. The two things that they've done, and this is kind of why it's a B, because they just haven't done much. I've liked the things that they've done so far, but they just that's it. Ronnie Stanley, Patrick Ricard, it's kind of been boring. Okay, but let's start a little bit by talking about Ronnie Stanley. Okay, let's break down that deal, talk a little bit more about that deal, because as it came to the end of last week, and the closer it got to the legal tampering period of free agency, I kind of started to believe that Ronnie Stanley might not be a Baltimore Raven in 2025. The Chiefs were picking up a lot of steam. The Commanders were picking up some steam. The Patriots were picking up some steam. And I was looking at these as the teams, seeing the cap space that they had, seeing the money that they could throw Ronnie's way, right? Some teams being rumored in the realm of $25, $24 million a year. And I just knew that Baltimore wasn't able to do that. They didn't have the money to do that. And yet, it came out Saturday, Ronnie Stanley re-signing with the Baltimore Ravens, 3 years, $60 million. You got him for $20 million a year, a guy who just played 17 games, was a phenomenal left tackle. Sure, he struggled with penalties every now and then, of course. But still, for the price that you got him, you didn't overpay and you kept him from walking away. And John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta, they decided themselves, you know what? If we want to make the outcome of this next season different than the last, it's probably not best to let our left tackle walk away. Another guy they didn't let walk away, this one came out today, Patrick Ricard, re-signing with the Baltimore Ravens, 1-year deal, full details to be announced. However, we do know that that deal is fully guaranteed. I talked a lot about it on his video earlier today, but he gets overshadowed because he doesn't put up a ton of numbers, right? Doesn't get a ton of carries, doesn't get a ton of receptions, found the end zone only once this last year. However, what he does for this run game and paving a way for Derrick Henry, for Lamar Jackson, that cannot be overstated how important that is, okay? And he's not going to be very expensive. Love that you're keeping him in because of just how much of a locker room guy that he is. But still, I'm giving it a B because although I like these two deals, I just still would like to have seen more. Okay, I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit, but I just want to make the point. I am happy that you're not overpaying. Okay, I do need to make myself known in saying that. If you kind of made one of the moves that a lot of these other teams are making, paying some of these guys the money that they're getting, I don't know if I'd be very excited about that, okay? You look at some of the money that cornerbacks and edge rushers, guys like Josh Sweat, you know, and just a lot of these free agents, it's not that big of a free agency class. So in my opinion, I think teams who have needs on rosters, teams who have holes, are doing a little bit of panicking and saying, you know what, we need to plug up that hole. That's the only guy available. Let's go give him whatever he wants to make sure he comes to our team, to make sure he pays for us. And I think what Eric DeCosta has been doing of sitting on his hands, right, of waiting, not pulling the trigger, not making a mistake with these contracts, and not overpaying anybody, I do think that's a good decision. I do think that's a good idea because we sit here right now at the end of day 2 in NFL free agency, and there's not that many great players left. And there haven't been that many great players signed. Look what Washington gave Javon Kinlaw yesterday. $15 million a year for a guy who hasn't gotten 10 sacks in his 5 years in the National Football League. They just gave that guy $15 million, okay? And you're not doing that. You're not doing that even close, okay? Now, are there some free agents I would have loved this team to, maybe spend a little money on? Sure, there is. Javon Kinlaw is not one of those guys, right? Would have loved to spend a little cheddar on Josh Sweat. Would have loved to spend a little cheddar on a guy like DJ Reed. We've talked about those guys before, Travarius Ward. But you didn't overpay. Some guys outbid you. You weren't able to raise that money, and so you passed. And I think what this team is doing, what this front office is doing, is they're sitting, looking at the team that they had last year and saying, you know what, we still believe we're good enough to win a Super Bowl. Let's just run it back, okay? This is just a start, ladies and gentlemen. For the latest Ravens breaking news updates, make sure you hit that sub button, okay? When Pat Ricard signed his extension, we had you a video in seconds, it felt like, okay? When breaking news happens, I'll be right here in front of this camera, this microphone on, talking about it all, okay? So make sure you don't miss a moment. Hit that sub button and join us for the best coverage right here on YouTube. What else you guys should do is, while you're hitting that sub button, go ahead and go to chatsports.com/Ravens Polo. You can get this Ravens Polo. It's gray. It's cool. It's sleek. It's perfect. It's everything you could want it to be. It's 40% off. $33. That's all it is. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to find something, something cool, something to wear maybe on a date night or two. And I'm like, gosh, these polos, these collared shirts, they're just too expensive. I like to play golf. I don't like paying for golf shirts. Well, this one's only $33. Support the best, look like the best. Head to chatsports.com/Ravens Polo and get the best. Alrighty, we've talked about what we've done. Let's talk about the players that have left. This also goes into the fact that this is still a B. Because Patrick McCarry's gone. That was your starting left guard. Okay, Andrew Voorhees is going to be looked at as a guy, hey, you need to take a step up this year. You need to be that starter. Brandon Stevens, he's a guy that's gone. I'm not that mad about that. That probably takes this from a B- to a B, the fact that he's not in your roster. Malik Harrison, that's one that I'm a little bit surprised about because his deal was not anything ridiculous with Pittsburgh. And after you realize Trenton Simpson wasn't giving you the minutes, wasn't giving you the play that you expected of him, around 14 weeks through the season, you heavily dealt and leaned on Malik Harrison, and I thought he showed up. Okay, I really did. Obviously, Baltimore feels differently, and he's gone to Pittsburgh. Chris Board, upset about it, gives you a little bit of depth. Not that upset about it. Josh Jones, that's another offensive tackle. He left, signing a 1-year, $4.75 million with the Seattle Seahawks. So of those 5 guys you lost, 2 were starters. One of them was a starter at the end of the season, so I guess 3 were starters. And then 2 guys were just depth pieces. Josh Jones not really getting any playing time. The time we all remember Josh Jones was the playoff game against Pittsburgh when he came in as an extra offensive lineman, and it was awesome, and you ran it all the way down your throats. But the reason I say B, and this is where we're going to end it, is because you can still do things to make money. And I don't want to hear everybody in the comments section saying, Joey, they're not making any moves because they don't have any money. BS. You can clear up almost $50 million in cap space if you do these 5 things. Extend Lamar's contract. That gives you about $15 million. Extend Derrick Henry. I think that might be coming. That gives you another $5 or $6 million. Trade Mark Andrews. That gives you some assets, and it also frees up $11 million. If you make Justin Tucker a post-June 1st cut, that gives you $4 million. And if you cut Arthur Mollett, a guy who didn't play basically the entirety of last season, that saves you $2.5. What I just did in, 20 seconds, Jack, is get this team almost $50 million. So am I upset that they sat on their hands? A little bit, because they could do things to make moves to give themselves money to go out and get players, to fill holes. But they haven't. And now you're going to look at the draft to fill a lot of your needs. I don't think it's a terrible strategy. I just would have loved if they did a little bit in free agency, at least in these first 2 days. Shout them out for me. Comment section down below. Name a player you want the Ravens to sign. Get creative. I don't care who it is. Just let me know your answer. Wow. Yeah, that was a close one, ladies and gentlemen. But we made it through. Robert Tonyan, tight end, signing a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Could this be, Jack, the next Travis Kelce? I don't think he's retiring, but I do believe that this might be his replacement, Robert Tonyan. Interesting. C King says EDC needs to get with the program. Could not agree more, my friend. Papa Shook says, I think they already cut Marcus. They did. Attendance squad wants Cup. Papa wants Cup. C King wants Cup. A lot of people want Cup. Attendance squad wants Tyreek, although Tyreek is not a free agent, but you could trade for him still. Papa Shook says Noah Gray is better than Tonyan. You think so? Let's compare. Johnny Hecker to the Titans. A lot of punters moving around today. Yeah, a few punter moves. Yeah, you're probably right. Noah Gray is better than Robert Tonyan. The guy that they got, Jared Wiley, out of TCU, I don't think he made the roster. I think he was a practice squad player all last year. Somebody would have to tell me if that's right or not. But that's a guy that I think could have a pretty high ceiling. He's definitely in the right offense. Chris Board, linebacker, we just talked about that, signed a 2-year, $6 million deal. It's the year of the punter, says Papa Shook. Muhammad wants them to trade for Jair Alexander. Muhammad, Jacoby Brissett plans to sign with the Cardinals. Okay. So, Brissett now on his third team or fourth team in 4 years? This would be his sixth team in 6 years. He went Colts, Dolphins, Browns, Commanders, Patriots, now Cardinals. 6 teams in 6 years. Wow. That is wild, man. Did the Chargers lock up Mack? Yes, they did, Moggs. They did. Calais Campbell back in Baltimore, says Raven 76. That's what he wants. There is the Brissett news down below. Full details to be announced. We don't have those for you yet. Could you guess the max yards Jacoby Brissett has ever thrown in a season, Jack?
I think it's better than people think. He had some good stints on the Patriots. Let's go 2,500 yards.
3,098.
I was not that far off.
You weren't. You really weren't. That shocked me. So he's had 3 seasons above 2,500. He's had a 3,098, 2,942, and then 2,608. That's with the Browns, Colts. The 3,000 yards with the Colts. His most touchdowns he's thrown in a year is 18. So that might not be great. Anthony Savage says the Ravens know what they're doing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm so conflicted. Marco Wilson kind of looks like a girl a little bit. He kind of does, man. He kind of does. Anthony, I'm a little bit conflicted because I do understand what they're doing, and I do believe that they're probably right. And just kind of sitting on your money when you have that good of a team and you're that low in cap space, they just don't have that much to be able to do. But man, it'd be so easy for this team to clear up cap space. It would be so easy, and they refuse to do it. I just don't get why Derrick Henry hasn't been extended. I don't get why Lamar Jackson restructuring or extension talks haven't happened either. EDC has not made his way to Florida yet to meet with him. So it just feels like, although yes, like I'm not mad that they haven't done anything in this class because this class necessarily isn't that great of a class. It just feels like there's something they could do. Why aren't they at least shopping Mark Andrews? I don't know, man. Anthony Savage said, we need that 2000s defense back. We could snag Joey Bosa on a reasonable 2-year deal, says Papa Shook. Papa, I hate to break it to you, but if you guys don't follow Slick Rick Scoops, y'all should. Because he's been nailing it this week. And he said earlier to expect. We're good. He said earlier to expect. Expect Joey Bosa to go with the 49ers. That's what he's saying is going to happen. And so I kind of believe that's going to happen. Because he's the one who also called the Ricky or the Ronnie Stanley thing as well. Giants officially signed Roy Robertson Harris. Panthers processed their termination of Miles Sanders. So these are all the official things going in, I'm assuming. Yeah. And also the 49ers released Leonard Floyd. So it seems like they're clearing up a little bit of space to get Joey Bosa. I hope Lamar and Derek re-signed. Want them to stay with the Ravens. Yeah, what do y'all think is the Ravens' biggest need? I think it's edge rusher. Papa Shook was talking about Joey Bosa. Papa Shook also asked, can we afford Jamar? No, we can't. No, we cannot. We could afford a trade. It'd be around 2 first-rounders, which I would do, but then you'd have to pay for him, and he probably wants what? Do you think after the Garrett deal, he wants somewhere around $38 million? Jamar? You think it's over 40? Yeah, he's going to want a lot of money. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah, that was highest paid person secondary. And so right now, highest paid non-quarterback goes Max Crosby 35.5. I think it's Nick Bosa 34, Max Crosby 35.5, Myles Garrett now at 40. Also in there at 35 is Justin Jefferson. So dude, it really does. See, the thing is I think the Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons. I think the Cowboys should trade Micah. I don't know. That might just be me. Papa Shook thinks it's edge rusher. Ravens King thinks it's cornerback. Kimberly says edge rusher, then wide receiver. Keyshawn Belton says go wide receiver and draft and get edge in free agency. Well, all the good edge rushers in free agency have come and gone, unfortunately. I think they got to get corner, edge, and wide receiver in the NFL draft. The good thing about edge and wide receiver is those are pretty deep classes, so you can get wide receiver in a good wide receiver easily in second, third, fourth, maybe even fifth rounds of this upcoming draft. If Micah's on the table, send the bank for him. Come to the bank. Man, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. You know what else I wouldn't mind? We got 73 people watching. If you guys hit that sub button, if you're just now tuning in, we're going live. We go live every Tuesday. We get you a video every single day. Some days we get you multiple a day. Already giving you 2 today. We're going to give you another one later. It's the best place to be if you love the Ravens. And the best thing about subscribing to something, on YouTube at least, it's free. 100% free. Let's make that ticker dance, make that number go up, and lock us in for the best coverage right here on this platform. You're not going to find more in-depth, better looking, and I'm not just talking about the host, but better looking coverage anywhere across YouTube. Mock trade, send Mandrews in a 3rd or 4th for Micah. Augusto, if you offered that to Dallas, I know Jerry Jones sucks, but Jerry Jones would slam the door in your face, and then he'd go and buy another door, install it, and slam another door in your face. Micah, they're not giving him away for anything other than 2 firsts. And I wouldn't give him away for anything other than 2 firsts either if I was Dallas. Augusto says, draft Jaden Higgins, please. I would like Jaden Higgins. I also would like Savion Williams. I think he's a really good player. Jack, you want to put up the sister weigh-in? If that's still on there, I might have actually deleted that today. Do we still have the sister weigh-in on there, the like one? I don't think we do, actually. I'm still mad at EDC. He only thinking about himself. Guys, the Ravens probably going to do something crazy tomorrow. Espresso, I don't know about that. The thing about with this free agency class, anybody they sign is not like that crazy because it's just not that good of a class. Now, if they trade for someone, that could be crazy. That could be awesome. That could be fun. But just like what you've got right now in this free agency class, it's just like, Like there's just not that much more. EDC at a Brazilian steakhouse instead of working. That's something that sounds good right now. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Let's just throw a like one up there, and then we can go into the mock draft. Make sure you guys like it. We got 84 people watching, 29 likes. Can we get to 40? And if so, we'll go in our mock draft. Okay, I'm going to give you my mock draft. We're not going to the mock till we get to 40. I'm going to give you my newest mock draft after the first little bit of free agency has subsided, okay? What I think the Baltimore Ravens should do. So you guys make sure to like it because I got a brand new one coming at you right now. Muhammad said EDC stands for every dollar counts. I love that. Brothers in Birdland asking me, what is the Ravens' biggest need in the draft? I think number 1 edge rusher, number 2 corner. Those might be flipped. It might be corner, then edge rusher, and then I think it's wide receiver, and then I think it's interior offensive line. I think those are the 4. And then interior defensive line because you can always get better on the I think that what Philadelphia showed in the Super Bowl is that adding in the trenches, adding in the defensive line is always something that's great for your team. Okay, no matter what it is. So, those are the biggest draft needs in my opinion. Okay, we got 5 more likes to get. 5 more likes. Papa Shook says, do what we have to do to draft Nick Eamon-Worry. I don't hate it. Nick Eamon-Worry tested out of this world at the NFL Scouting Combine. He had a really, really good year at South Carolina, made a lot of really great plays. I think he's a really good athlete. I think he's a lot like Kyle Hamilton. I think he's just very versatile in the ways that you could use him. The only thing is I really, really love Ardarius Washington and Kyle Hamilton together, and I just think there's bigger needs. Like, at the end of the day, I just think there's more that this team could do and could add than Nick Eamon-Worry. Augusto says, Michael Pierce is CB1. What do you mean, Joey? He is, bro. You're not wrong. They don't need to add a cornerback. They've got 300-pound Michael Pierce. That was so electric. I need to go back and find my call for that. That was a blast. Attendant Squad says, why can't we get a kicker from the draft? We can. We could. We might. I'm not sure. The free agency top, Jack, has ran its course. Caught Jack lacking. It's like crack-a-lacking. Okay. We got 41 likes, Jack. We got there. So that means we're going to get you this mock draft, and then we'll chop it up with you guys for just a little bit more, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Keyshawn Belton said, send Mark Andrews to the Titans, get their number 1 pick, get Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, and Mike Green. If the Titans sent me their first overall pick for Mark Andrews, it will never happen. I would run through that door. There would be a Joey-sized hole through that door right there. We would go live for an hour and a half. No, we'd go live for a day and a half. Yeah, I misspoke. We'd go live. I'll go live for 90 minutes. No, we would go live for like five or 6 hours. Dude, it's so funny. So I'm a Mavs fan, massive Mavs fan, and I have been I've had these just so sickening thoughts of the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson. Just it's never gonna happen. I know it's never gonna happen, but I thought the Luka trade was never gonna happen, and so there's just random times where I'm at home, I'm working out, I'm not even here, and there's a pit in my stomach because I think about the news of the Ravens just traded Lamar Jackson, and that would be sick.
The funniest moment of that entire situation was everyone in our production Slack channel, everyone simultaneously saying, Shams has to be hacked.
Yeah. Dude.
There was 7 or 8 of us at the same time he has to be hacked. There is no way this is real.
It was wild. It was insane. So we have a company Slack channel obviously, and that's where we kind of keep each other updated on things. Papa Shook says he's a Lakers fan. Papa Shook, get out of here. But someone sent it in because we've got a Mavericks channel, and so they're like, shoot, is this real? And then everybody was like, no way, it's fake, he's hacked, all that stuff. And then, yeah, exactly. It was confirmed. And even after SportsCenter and ESPN posted, I still was like, wow, they got ball sacked right there. I thought they got duped. But then, alas, it happened. Kennedy and I were in the middle of watching some show, and we didn't watch a second longer for the rest of the night because I was just on my phone, refreshing, reading, scrolling, calling my dad, calling my friends from high school. It was just, it was surreal. I was so sad. Wow, it was bad. And so, needless to say, all of that to say, sometimes I have those scary thoughts about the same thing happening to Lamar Jackson. All that to say, we're about to get into Mock Draft 4.0. Make sure you guys like the video. Stick with us. For 47 minutes. We're about to go into this cut. You will see us through the entirety of it, but we'll really be back in the back half of it. Give us about 10 to 15 minutes. Let's get to 50 likes while we're in the cut. And Jack, are you ready to go? Alrighty, let's roll. Coming at you right now. The first little bit of free agency has passed, so on today's episode, I've got my Mock Draft 4.0, everything I think the Baltimore Ravens need to target in the draft after the beginning of free agency has subsided. Before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that sub button. I'm not really pumped up about these numbers. I'm not going to lie to you guys, okay? This is our 4th mock draft, and on our first one, we got 14 subs. Second one, we got 6. Third, we got 5. We need at least 20 on today's video, okay? We cannot be getting worse every single one. Come on, guys. We're better than that. For the best coverage right here on this platform, hit us up, subscribe, Ravens Rundown. You found it. Hit that sub button. All righty, let's get into my Mock Draft 4.0, Round 1, pick number 27. I love to say it. A former Tennessee Volunteer just like myself, James Pierce Jr., edge rusher. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Pierce falling to 27 is a dream. It's a dream in two scenarios. It's a dream because I would love it to happen, and it's a dream because it most likely isn't true. Because when you look at what he's able to do in this past scouting combine with his speed mixed with his size, height that is, not necessarily weight, and his athleticism, I just don't think there's any way this guy falls all the way to the end of the first round. He is raw. I will mention that, and I will say that. There were a lot of missed sacks I saw him miss this past year in 2024 with the Vols. However, his ceiling is incredibly high. He has unreal potential because of just the natural gifts, natural ability that he has been given, okay? His bend, his power, his ability to win these pass rushes in multiple different ways. Like, guys, if he's there at 27, I'm picking him in a heartbeat. And the thing is, though, is I will say there's a chance that he might be because we've talked about it already, but there have been some reports about some character issues coming out. Now, there hasn't been anything further than that, really, nailing that down. However, that is something to monitor. So for a guy who was most likely going to go in the top 15, there are character issues. Him sliding down to 27 might not be that unrealistic. Let me know in the comment section down below, would you draft James Pierce Jr.? Give me a yes, give me a no. If you are Eric DeCosta, what are you doing? Are you taking the chance on that edge rusher? Let me know. We got a little bit of a trade alert. The Ravens are moving up in the second round to pick number 51, swapping with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, giving them pick number 59, pick number 136 in the fourth, and the final selection for the Baltimore Ravens in the seventh round, pick number 245. You're going into this draft with 11 draft picks. I do not think you need to use all of them. If you need to trade them away to move up, get better players, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. I do it in this second round because you got the Texas Longhorn defensive tackle Alfred Collins right there available. Pick number 51. Collins had a great year at the University of Texas. 55 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 18 pressures on the interior of that defensive line, not to mention also 7 pass breakups and a forced fumble as well. One of the things I loved about Alfred Collins on top of that is he showed out in big games, okay? The quarterfinal game against Arizona State, he had 6 tackles. The regular season game, right? Against Georgia, their biggest game in the entirety of the regular season, 6 tackles as well. And when you look at this front 5, I see a lot of guys that I like a lot, okay? Especially in that interior with Nnamdi Madubuike and Travis Jones. But I think that Collins would come in and fit right in, okay? We saw Nnamdi Madubuike struggle this past year a little bit because he was forced to take on a lot of double teams, right? Because in the interior, there not necessarily was a ton of help next to him that could divert those offensive linemen's attention. I think Collins comes in, fits right in year 1, and has a phenomenal NFL career. I hope it's with the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go to round 3, shall we? Give me Savion Williams, wide receiver out of TCU, Riff Ram Bazoo. You already know he looks great in purple, right? Why not just add him and make him wear a different type of purple? He's 6'3" and 7/8, so basically 6'4". He'd automatically be the biggest wide receiver on this team, 222 pounds, and at that size, he still ran a sub 4.5 40 at the NFL Scouting Combine. And when you look at this depth chart, I've said this a million times, but I love Zay Flowers, I love Rashad Bateman, but you don't really have anything behind them. Nelson Aguilar's a UFA. Sims is a UFA. Hardy's a UFA. Wallace is a UFA. Right? You just don't have the people behind them. And I think that Savion could come in here and be a different wide receiver in this room. Lamar Jackson has never really had a big, deep ball wide receiver. Savion Williams could be that for him. And then that gives this offense just an entirely different wrinkle, okay? Instead of at the goal line, not being able to run anything except, a little rub route, slants, things like that, you know what you could do? goal line fades to a 6'4" receiver that's 220 pounds. You never really have been able to do that so far. I think Savion Williams gives you that look. Let's go to round 4, shall we? Give me Barrett Carter, linebacker out of the University of Clemson. I didn't really want to go linebacker in this draft a couple weeks ago, especially not this early. However, with the departing of Malik Harrison, 2-year, $10 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also the departing of Chris Board, both of those guys leaving your linebacker room. He signed a 2-year, $6 million deal with the Giants. Both of those guys leaving your linebacker room and just kind of leaving Roquan Smith there. I know Trenton Simpson's there as well, but the way he ended 2024, I don't know how much of a help he's going to be this next year. So linebacker help is a necessity. That is something you need. And Barrett Carter can be exactly that. Shout it out for me in the comment section down below. What do you think the Ravens' biggest need is in the draft? What do you want them to address come April? Is it edge rusher, wide receiver, cornerback? I got my thoughts. You let me know yours in the comment section down below. Coming up, we got 5 more selections for you. 5 more picks in this mock draft after the first little bit of free agency. But before we get into any of those selections, make sure you guys select the link in the comment section and description of today's video, chatsports.com/RavensPolo. If you think you have cool style, prove it to me and go ahead and snag this. It's 40% off, was $55. Now it is only $33. I could not think of a better deal than that right there, okay? I'm always looking for these kind of golf shirts, these kind of polos, because, you know, I like looking nice for my wife, but I also like repping my favorite teams. And you can do them both at the same time. Feel your best, look your best, and shop with the best. Go to chatsports.com/RavensPolo. Again, that link is in the comments and description of today's video. Let's draft another receiver, shall we? I'm just going to put it out there for you. This draft will be receiver heavy. Maybe a little too receiver heavy, but I don't mind it because Nick Nash was an absolute stud for San Jose State. 12 games played, and he had 1,382 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 drops, 104 catches. I think Nick Nash has all the potential in the world. And I believe if Nick Nash went to a school like an Alabama, like a Georgia, like an Oregon, Texas, one of the big blue blood programs in college football, I believe he undoubtedly would be a first rounder. But I think because he went to San Jose and because he kind of blended in with, I don't want to say he blended in, because he had to play against not the best talent in the world, I think automatically people discredit him for that. I'm not. I think he's got a really high ceiling. I want him in purple and gold. Another guy who I want in purple and gold, another Tennessee Volunteer. I know I might be a little biased. I can't help it. Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver out of the University of Tennessee. And this might be my favorite pick. Not because of the player necessarily, but where you get him. Okay, getting Dante Thornton Jr., a guy that has his potential in round 6, I think is an absolute steal. You look at his relative athletic score, okay, how he tested in this combine. It was a 9.8 on a scale of 1 to 10. Look at that speed. He ran a 4.340 at 6'4", almost 6'5". I mean, you can't teach that, ladies and gentlemen. He's a project receiver, no doubt about it, okay? I saw him drop a lot of passes, especially 2 years ago. He had a really great senior year, had a really struggling junior year with Tennessee. But with his height and his speed, he's worth a 6th-round pick without hesitation, okay? I think he's a sleeper in this upcoming draft. Who do you think is a sleeper in the upcoming draft? Let me know in the comment section down below. Get creative. Give me a name I haven't thought about you think is going to be a baller at the next level. All righty. Round 6, going to let you know, we've got 4 6th-round picks. So we're going to sit in round 6 for the rest of this mock draft. Give me Jalen Smith, cornerback out of the University of Southern California, different USC. He's a really, really great cornerback, okay? And he's a guy that I think a lot of people are sleeping on because he played on a really poor defensive team at USC. But he had an 83 coverage grade, an 83 man grade, and a run defense grade of 80.1. I think he could develop into something really, really great. And we all know that this team needs cornerback help. Okay, I love Nate Wiggins. I love Marlon Humphrey. But after that, with Brandon Stevens gone in free agency, praise God, you just kind of don't know what's going to go on in that room. So I think Jalen Smith, with his ability to cover and also help in run defense, too, an 80.1 run defense grade for a quarterback, it's very, very good. Think he could develop into something great and fit right into the secondary. I'm going to go running back with the third pick in the 6th round, number 210. Give me Ollie Gordon II, running back out of Oklahoma State. And I get it. I know what you're saying. Ollie's college tenure did not end great. But we have all seen what he is capable of, okay? That year prior, the 2023 season, coming in 2024, because of that, he was a Heisman dark horse. He won the Doak Walker Award, best running back in the nation. He had an incredible year with Oklahoma State. Now, 2024 didn't go that way. Not even really close. But we've seen the potential. We know what he's able to do. I love his size. I think he could fit really well into this offseason or into this offense. And I think he'd be a great pick in the 6th round. Let's round this one up with an offensive guard selection, Jackson Slater out of Sacramento State. What I love about Jackson is when it was his time to shine against really great Power 5 competition in the Senior Bowl, he did exactly that. Okay, going up against defensive tackles from Kentucky to Florida to Georgia, and he held his own. He did more than hold his own, right? He played really well, practiced really well. Because of that, I'm kind of surprised his stock hasn't risen much more. It has in my eyes. That's why if you're sitting there at pick number or round 6, your last pick in the draft, you know you need help on the offensive guard side with Patrick McCarry exiting, and we don't really know what Andrew Voorhees is going to be. Don't love Daniel Falele. I think that Jackson Slater, maybe not in year 1, but in year 2, could turn into something really, really special. There it is for you. Grade it for me in the comment section down below. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. This is one of my favorite ones yet, but as you guys always do, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Love doing these mock drafts for you guys. Love covering this team for you guys. It's a blessing to do this every single day. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Continue to do so by hitting that sub button. Alrighty, that's it. Our mock draft after the first couple of days of NFL free agency. 52 likes, 49 viewers. Did we miss anything, Jack Lotteray, while we were in the cut? Not anything of substance. Looks like the Panthers got Brady Christensen, offensive lineman. Drake Stoops did get suspended for PEDs, which is insane. And what? And Major League Baseball set their trade deadline. When is it? July 31st, 6 p.m. Eastern. Jack Lotteray, I'm assuming, will probably be live on Maine. Will you be live on the Red Sox Rundown and Maine? There we go. There we go. Let me know who's the guy you want the Ravens to sign. Get in the comment section for me. We're about to wrap it up. You guys let me know. Let's see some of the comments. Papa Shook says, and a backup QB. Great. Yeah, sounds good to me. All good. Chris Byron says edge and corner. Papa says Shook in the late rounds would be great for Lamar and a backup. You know what, Papa? I actually drafted Shook in this recent mock draft. However, I had to go back on it because I don't like taking consecutive players from consecutive mocks. I took Shook in the last one. I think he's going to be a really great backup. We've got a guy in here named Jack Sperry. I mean, he has bad takes all the time. He's the Steelers host, so you know he's bad at his job. But he thinks that Tyler Shough is going to be a star. I don't see that in him. He's really old. He only had one good year in like the 6 years of college. But I think he's going to be a really good backup. I don't know if he'll be available in the 6th round. I have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys who really climbs draft boards. I see him going somewhere in the 4th. In this pass-happy league, could never have too many great corners. Totally agree. Charles Augusto says, yes, Nick Nash. I love that. Nick Nash is a beast, says Papa Shook. Ravens are already stacked with talent and will only get better. I kind of want Ty Felton. I think Ty Felton would be really good. He's one of the guys from Maryland that I'm looking at. There's another safety from Maryland that I think would do really well. Papa says A-. Chris says C. Damn. Okay, Chris. Keyshawn says they need to sign Mike Green or Luther Burden. Well, Keyshawn, I hate to break it to you. Both of those guys are going in the first round. Okay, both of those will be gone, most likely by pick number 27. I would love Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden's going to be a star. In fact, did I pick Luther Burden in my most recent mock? I might have picked Luther Burden. No, I don't think I did. Who did I pick? Oh, Will Johnson. I traded up and took Will Johnson. That's who it was. But, yeah, Luther Burden's going to be a star. I absolutely love him. Ty Felton's a beast, Joey, says Augusto. Papa Shook says go Mariners. Papa, go Rangers. When is Cup getting released? Attendance squad, I think at the end of the week, if they still haven't found a trade target or trade, like, people willing to trade for Cooper Kupp, I've got a feeling that they just might go ahead and release him. I think that they would. I think they'd want to save money on him. I don't know what his post-June 1st and pre-June 1st releases look like. Let me look that up and tell you. But I think that, if they're not gonna find a person that will trade for him, they'll just cut him. So his pre-June 1st cut, they would save $7.52 million. His post-June 1st cut, they'd save $15 million. So they wouldn't see that money until after, but I think they would do that. So I think he's going to be a post-June 1st cut if they do release him. Save himself $15 million this year, $19.85 million next year. But that's only if they can't find anybody to trade for him. If you did trade for him, his base salary in 2025 is $12.5 million. His roster bonus is $7.5 million. So you'd be paying him $20 million flat. That's what you would be doing. If you love the Ravens, go ahead and spam those me's in the chat down below. I'll get us started because we all know how I feel. I have a soft spot for the Rangers, but I hate the Astros, says Papa Shook. I hate the Astros as well, my friend. Don't worry. Papa thinks he'll be traded well to Cooper Kupp in free agency, says Keyshawn Belton. They need to get Cooper Kupp in free agency. Hopefully we get bigger wide receiver than the ones that we have. Yeah, I think that Cooper Kupp I think he'd fit really well. I talked about it a lot this morning. I would love his fit with Baltimore. I just don't think they're gonna do anything. That's the thing. I said it on Monday when I recapped, or it was Sunday. I said it on Sunday after I recapped the Ronnie Stanley signing. I said, I don't think this team's going to do anything for the rest of free agency. I think signing Ronnie Stanley was their big move. I don't think they're going to make any others. I don't think they're going to trade for anybody. If they do sign a free agent, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to be that big of a name. So that's kind of my thoughts. Augusto says, what if Joe Flacco gets re-signed as QB2? I would love that. That would be very, very, very cool. I'd be all for it. Espresso VR, he loves the Ravens. He's spamming me. Gosh, I can't believe that Drake Stoops did PEDs. That is so freaking funny. HH says there are better wide receiver options out there. Marquise Brown didn't want to come back to Baltimore. No, he didn't, HH. I think he was pretty excited to leave Baltimore. I don't think he's itching to get back. Hey, Jack, can you find me the Marquise Brown top? I want to know the money to that. Great. Yeah, I think that was a pretty early one. Kupp would cost too much, said Byron. The thing is he would cost a lot if you traded for him because you'd have to pay him that base salary. He would cost less. Yeah, Marquise Brown, 1 year, $11 million deal. Like, I feel like, what do you think Kupp would go for? Like $14.5 million if you signed him, yeah. He's better than Hollywood. He would get paid more than Hollywood. But I think his age mixed with his injury history definitely lowers the price. Like Chris Godwin got paid the most of any wide receiver free agent this season. I guess DK did. He got 30. But Chris Godwin was the only true free agent. He got 22 a year. So I kind of think Cooper Kupp might be somewhere in the middle, probably a little bit more towards the Chris Godwin side of money with Marquise Brown and him. But I don't think it'd be more than 16 and a half, more than 17. I think if you signed him, you can get him for somewhere 16 and a half. When is Marcus Williams getting cut? I believe he's a post-June 1st designation. Okay? I believe that's what he is. We got Papa Shook saying, yes, Flacco back in the purple and black. Marcus is already cut. If we sign Joe Flacco as QB2, we could possibly get the 2012 Ravens. If you guys want to ask me a question or get on the show, use hashtag Ravens or Super Chat to get on today's mailbag. We're not going to be doing a full mailbag cut this week just because all the free agency stuff, things change and things like that. But if you guys want to talk, chop it up, ask me a question, get it on the show, use hashtag Ravens or Super Chat. If you Super Chat to get it on the show, that's a guarantee that it will be on screen. But if you just got a question, go ahead, use hashtag Ravens in the chat down below. Keyshawn says, yeah, how much cap space do we have right now? I believe after the Stanley deal, I think we're sitting somewhere around $7 million. So if you guys got a question for me, ask the question, use hashtag Ravens in the question, then we could put it up on the stream. Baltimore's at $6.1 million in cap space. Now, that doesn't mean like how much you could spend, right? If you go and sign Cooper Kupp to like we just signed Ronnie Stanley, a $20 million deal, and yet Ronnie Stanley is, I think, only $5 million against the cap this year. Let me tell you, I tweeted about it earlier today. Yeah, Ronnie Stanley's 5.8 against the cap this year on a $20 million deal. So you can still make a decent signing with what you have left. Hashtag Ravens run down by Chat Sports, says Espresso. You got it. You just got to keep the question in there. HH, ask that question. Oh, he did ask the question with hashtag Ravens. Great. Let's get HH up there on the screen. And Papa Shook. I am hungry. What's for dinner tonight, Jack? What do you usually do for dinner? Do you cook for yourself or do you go out? Okay. Yeah, that's fair. We got Papa Shook coming in saying, hashtag Ravens, what are our realistic odds of winning the Super Bowl in the next 3 years? I think good. Just about as good as anybody. Just about as good as any of the top teams. I think we're right up there with Philadelphia, Kansas City, Buffalo. Those are honestly probably the top three. I don't want to I'd say 20%, 10%, which is not bad. You know, you got to think with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, with just what this team is and how they've built it, that they've got to have a chance of a good, decent, odds-wise chance of winning the Super Bowl. Texans are signing Nick Neiman to a 2-year deal. Let me look up 2025 Super Bowl odds. And see, or I guess 2026 it would be. So right now, if you look at FanDuel, the Eagles are plus 600. The Ravens are plus 700. So we've got the second best odds to win the next Super Bowl. So I don't want to spoil it, but you know, that's what it's looking like right now. Espresso VR.
We do real quick have an Aaron Rodgers update.
We have an Aaron Rodgers update.
I don't take this with a grain of salt. I don't know how reputable this source is, but it's a source that's covering Pennsylvania sports, basically. And they say that Pittsburgh could re-sign Russell Wilson as talks with Aaron Rodgers stall.
Oh.
So that means Giants?
How many followers does that source have?
15K.
Okay, so a good source. Decent source.
Again, take it with a grain of salt, but Marshko tweeted. That's how I saw it. So interesting to say the least.
Well,
we are kind of on Aaron Rodgers' watch here too, because if he goes to the Steelers, that's direct impact on the Ravens.
That is. We should probably, if he goes to the Steelers, we should do a bad news cut in the next little bit. Yeah. Next one coming from Espresso VR. Hashtag Ravens. What are the chances of the Ravens getting Cooper Kupp? I don't know. I don't think great. Just because I think they've showed us over the last 36 hours they're not necessarily that inclined or that excited about doing anything. If Cooper Kupp comes available, I think it'd be a lot like a lot of these guys that have come available that they're just not going out and signing. Josh Sweat, great example. He got $19 million a year from the Cardinals. This team needs an edge rusher, in my opinion. I would have paid Josh Sweat $19 million a year. I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. I would have been really, really excited by that signing, yet they didn't do it. DJ Reed, I think he's getting somewhere around $15 million a year. I'd have paid DJ Reed somewhere around that as well, but they didn't. So just because of who this team is, because of their lack of spending consistently in this time of the NFL calendar, year over year over year, I wouldn't put the chances as high. I think it'd be a great fit. I would do it. I would look into it. But that's just my thoughts. Keep getting those questions in and make sure you guys use hashtag Ravens just like HH did. Saying chances we sign Calais Campbell back. For old time's sake, he was a great leader, hashtag Ravens. I actually think this one's a decent chance. I think he loved being in Baltimore. He made it very, very clear at the end of his time in Miami that, you know what, he didn't really want to, he wants to be on a contender. He wants to win a Super Bowl. Now, I'm happy that didn't, I'm happy he didn't get cut by Miami and then sign with somebody else last year because that kind of would have felt like a Mickey Mouse ring, in my opinion. Can you really claim that confidently of being a Super Bowl champion if you joined the team right before the playoffs started? That's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. That might be a bad take. That's how I feel. But he loves Baltimore. He loved his time here. Baltimore loved his time there. He's a great leader. He's still really, really good, funny enough. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And it's really not even close. If you look at what he was able to do this last year with Miami, he still got 52 tackles, 5 sacks. He's been such a consistent player. He's played since 2008. 17 freaking seasons. You know where I was in 2008? I was in second grade. So, what this guy has done in his career is insane. 110 career sacks, almost 1,000 career tackles. One of the best to do it. I don't know how much longer he has in his career, but being able to do what he does, he was still really consistent. He was great last year. I'd love Calais Campbell. I think that one's decently realistic of all the options that might come available over the next couple of weeks. KBZ, hashtag Ravens. I have a gut feeling we're going to end up with Keenan Allen. Why? I don't know, but I just have a gut feeling. KBZ, I'm here to tell you, I would not be that upset about it, weirdly enough. Keenan Allen didn't have a great year with Chicago. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. But still, Keenan Allen is that type of receiver that I think this team needs. Okay, he's just about 6'3". He's a little bit older, sure. But, Lamar Jackson has never really had a true deep threat, deep ball wide receiver. He's never had a true, goal line fade wide receiver. And Keenan Allen, still in a down year, caught 70 balls for 744 yards and 7 touchdowns. He had 1,200 receiving yards just 2 years ago. He's not very far removed from having a really, really good year with Los Angeles. I think if you put him in this offense, I don't know how many yards he's going to put up because there's only so many yards to go around with this team. But still, I would love Keenan Allen. I'd be really happy with that signing, truly. Make sure you guys hit that sub button. We've gained a decent bit of subs. I think around 10 over the live show. 28,633 of you guys. We got 50 people in here. I know that 50 of you guys are not subscribed. If we can get that to 28,640, I'd be a very happy camper. Help me out. Make sure you guys hit that sub button. Join us. We give you a video every single day. I know I've given this spiel a million times so far, but we really do have really good coverage right here on YouTube. It's all 100% free. When you hit that sub button, it doesn't sign you up for a mailing list. You don't get spam emails. A lot of times you kind of just forget about it, but it helps us out a ton here. Okay, so if you want to lock us in, hit that sub button. And also, if you haven't already, for all of our real ones in the chat, like the Papa Shooks, the HHs, the guys that I've seen here a ton, seen here before, Espresso, Attendance Squad, all of those guys. If you guys don't have your notifications on, make sure to get those on, okay? Hit that little bell emoji, and that means every time we put out a video, you get notified. You can watch it, like it, comment on it before anybody else does. Another signing. Who is it? 2? Okay. And it is Nick Westbrook-Akine to the Miami Dolphins. Wide receiver, $3.2 million. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Nick Westbrook-Akine actually, I was live and producing a game for the Commanders this last year, and he tore up the Commanders. Funny enough. He, against Washington, when I was producing, had 8 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kind of crazy stat line for Nick Westbrook-Akine. Espresso said, just turned on noties, LOL. Thank you, my friend. If you guys have your notifications on, let me know in the comment section so I can know who all the real ones are. Hashtag Ravens, will Lamar have a 5,000 passing yard season? I think it's possible, but I'm not sure. I don't think so, Papa. Unless the season goes to 18 games at some point, then I think it might be realistic. But 5,000 yards is a lot. He had 4,000 this past year. That was a career year for him. But 5,000 for Lamar when this team's going to run the football as much as they do kind of stretches it a little bit for me, in my opinion. HH saying hashtag Ravens. The team seems to make one splash move each year. Last year's Henry. What positions do you think would be splash signing this year? I think they've already made the splash signing, and I think it was Ronnie Stanley. I don't think there's going to be a splash signing. I don't know if there even can be a splash signing. I don't know if there's good enough players for any other signing to call a splash. Would you say that's fair? Yeah, Kupp would be a splash signing. He would be splashed because of the name. Yes, I totally agree. Outside of him, outside of Cooper Kupp, I don't think there's really any other player that would qualify as a splash. Just because this free agency class is kind of weak, unfortunately. So, I don't know about it. I think that Cooper Kupp's kind of it for the splashes, and outside of that, another signing, Coleman Shelton, 2-year deal to the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out our Rams report. Do we still have Deontay Johnson, or is he a free agent? And if we get rid of him, how much can we get for him? Do you think he's a good receiver? Keyshawn, we do not have Deontay Johnson. He is a free agent, and so we couldn't get anything for him, unfortunately. I don't think he's a very good receiver. I think I'll take that back. I think he's a fine receiver. He's all right. I think he's not a very good teammate. I don't think he's a very good locker room presence. That made itself clear this past year when you traded for him at the deadline and then you cut him. New move. Ty Johnson returning to the Bills on a 2-year deal per source. Johnson emerged as a versatile third down back for Buffalo. Now gets rewarded. Good for Ty Johnson, man. There's the Coleman Shelton news. Signing with Los Angeles Rams. 2-year deal. Full details to be announced. Insiders wrapping up the biggest deal of the day. Daniel Jones. The fact that Daniel Jones was the biggest deal of the day shows you Yeah, it just shows you that, this has kind of been a clunker of a day. That's just what it is.
Well, Sam came in before we went live, and he was like, there's been 11 deals in the last 5 hours.
It's crazy, man.
Again, the fact that Daniel Jones is the biggest deal of the day.
He's headlining NFL Network. Daniel freaking Jones.
That's
Indiana Jones.
That's crazy.
That's an awful quarterback room. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones?
I think that you take a lot of the pressure off AR.
Or do you add pressure?
No. Because I think Jones will come in assumed that he's probably QB1.
You think so? See, I
don't know, maybe.
I don't know. The thing is, they're both going to throw picks. They're both going to miss throws. You might as well go with Anthony Richardson, who's a guy who can do unreal things on his legs.
Ashton Davis to the Dolphins.
Ashton Davis, safety from New York Jets, is going to the Miami Dolphins.
8 career interceptions.
8 career picks.
Remains in the AFC East. But they used a photo. Oh, is that him on the Jets? I thought that was him on the Seahawks or something.
But yeah, so Papa thinks that Daniel Jones will start for Indy over AR. I don't think so. What do you guys think? Luis did say Diggs can be a good pickup if he stays healthy. I don't disagree. Stephon Diggs, I wouldn't be mad about it. I wouldn't be jazzed about it. I wouldn't be like, you know what? Like, here we go. You got Stephon Diggs, Super Bowl bound, but I would not be bummed out. KBZ says, you're wrong. We definitely get a comp pick for Deontay. We brought him back right before the playoffs. That's only if somebody would have signed him. Like, if we would have released him and then signed him, and then somebody else would have signed him, we would have gotten one. He got a contract, but because we let him hit free agency, I believe we don't get a comp pick for Deontay Johnson. Papa says he played for New York. Indy's going to be fine with Jones. No, we didn't. He went to Houston and played for Houston. What?
According to Jerry Dulac, who we all know Sperry says take with a grain of salt,
yes.
but he is a reputable reporter in Pittsburgh. It seems the Steelers are starting to shift back to Russell Wilson.
That is awesome.
Not to get anyone's hopes up, but it sounds like the Giants might be closing that gap.
Do I make a video tomorrow making fun of the Steelers for going back to Russell Wilson?
I think that is the definition of Ravens got great news.
I totally agree.
I think that
I think it is.
I think that it is.
Yeah.
Over Aaron Rodgers, I would if I were the Ravens, I would much rather face
Russell Wilson
2 times a year.
You beat him twice. The last time, actually you did. You only beat him once. You did beat him twice because once in the playoffs.
I think that's the definition of the Ravens get great news.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Kimberly says, I think the Ravens need to fire Eric D. and get a new GM, in my opinion. I don't know about that. He's done so great in the draft. Oh, the NFL just announced the comp picks. Baltimore gets pick 4. We already knew that. These are just being officially announced. 4th down pick, 6th, 2-6. Yep. So we knew that. Just now we definitely know their numbers. There we go. Man, that's going to be awesome when Aaron Rodgers is a Giant. I would rather him be a Giant than a Steeler. Yes, they are. Yes, I knew that. I made a video about it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they've got a ton. HH says, but they do. But does that mean the Steelers will draft a QB? Yeah, it probably does. I don't think they'll draft one in round 1 unless like Shadur falls to 21, which I don't think he will. I think that they might draft some guy like Tyler Shook, They might draft him in the 5th round, maybe 6th round, maybe 4th round. I don't know. shown that they're very interested in him. But I don't think they're picking at 21, so they're not going to have the opportunity to pick that high to get one of these top guys. That like a Cam Ward or maybe Jackson Dart in the second. Keep Aaron out of the AFC. I agree. Yeah, it might be. That would be really big. Stays out of the AFC and the AFC North. Yeah, that would be big. I can't wait to make that video. I can't wait to make it. Okay. KBZ says, okay, we have to check that because I think we do if he signed anywhere. The thing is, though, KBZ, is he hasn't signed anywhere, unfortunately. And I don't know if he will because I don't think anybody wants to add him. Maybe a guy like Riley Leonard for Pittsburgh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too high on Riley Leonard. I don't think really anybody is in the NFL. Riley Leonard might end up having he's a poor man's Tim Tebow. Is that mean to say? Okay. Great. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Producer Jack, he's doing what he does best, producing. He doesn't just push buttons. He pushes agendas. That's what he does. Let's see. Baltimore lost Jadeveon Clowney, Ronald Darby, Devin Duvernay, Gus Edwards, Patrick Queen, John Simpson, Geno Stone, Kevin Zeitler, gained Derrick Henry. Who will sign Aaron Rodgers? Let me know. It's looking like he's going to be a Giant, which I would love. I just think he has more aura in a Giants uniform, too. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have the same aura that, he doesn't have the same aura that Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry has. It's a different type of aura. It's like an aura of holy, that's Aaron Rodgers, Who will he sign with? Let me know. Just seems like a Pittsburgh pick, says Papa Shook. Ravens make it to the Super Bowl next year, and if they don't, Coach H be gone for good. I'm mad that our team didn't make it to the playoffs and Super Bowl. Well, they did make it to the playoffs, but they just did not make it to a Super Bowl. I think that why are people scared of Aaron Rodgers? He sucks now. Yeah, but he in that Jets offense, with how bad of a offensive coordinator was it? Hackett? Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett sucks. Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett sucks. And he still put up decent numbers with the Jets. I know it wasn't an Aaron Rodgers type of year. They're just awful. Yeah. Yeah. Cardinals deal is 2 years. Okay, how teams got their third-round comp picks. Baltimore did not get a comp pick. Maybe a guy I already saw that. Aaron Rodgers needs to retire. When do you think Rodgers is going to retire? Do you think this is his last deal? I agree. I think this team he plays on will be the last team he plays on.
Unless inevitably there's a bunch of drama like there is everywhere he goes now. And then he'll be gone after a year and go to another team and then, ruin their time as well.
I would have loved to know what that year one would have been with him in New York. I don't think it would have been much different than
those 4 snaps looked great.
Dude, everybody was so juiced for that game. Funny thing is, too, is that was fall of 2023. I actually, in spring of 2023, interviewed for a job with the Jets as a documentary producer. So I would have been in New York working for the Jets for that 4-snap Aaron Rodgers year.
One of the most painful seasons of NFL football.
Exactly. Wade DeHood says, if the Ravens make a move, who will it be for? Probably Cooper Kupp, if they make one. That might be too big of a name. I would say look for a guy like Calais Campbell, like we've talked about. I don't think it's going to be anybody that any of us are super jazzed up about. Maybe a Tyler Lockett. You could get him for cheap. There's just not that many great people available that I would even be pounding the table for Baltimore to sign at this point, especially with how overpaid these guys have been so far in free agency. What do you think of Hollywood Brown back in Baltimore? Unfortunately, he's not. Re-signed with the Kansas City Chiefs on a one-year deal. So, Joe says, do you think Aaron Rodgers, after his career, will buy a stake in a team like Tom Brady? And what team would he buy? No, I don't think so. Ooh, Matt Judon. That's another good name. That's a good name, TLM Gaming. That's a good one. I don't think he'll buy a stake in a team like Tom Brady. He just doesn't seem, in my opinion, that interested in football as Tom. I don't know. It's just Aaron Rodgers is a weirdo. And it seems like, in my opinion, when he officially is done and retires, he's going to step away from football for a good bit. That's kind of my understanding of it. What do you think? Do you think he'd ever buy stake in a team, Jack? Rodgers. Like Brady? You think he would? That is fair, but he's also weird. That's fair as well. Yeah. Dude, that's the thing, though, is if he is out of football, might he just pursue a career in politics? I would. With RFK. Okay. You heard it here first from Jack. I heard it here first from Jack. Hashtag Ravens. How did Brandon Stevens get such a solid deal with the Jets? I hope Ravens play Jets this year so we can throw it his way. That's exactly what I was talking about, HH. I mean, Brandon Stevens got a ton of money. Brandon Stevens freaking sucked this last year. And so it's that just shows you how poor this free agency class was, that guys like Brandon Stevens are getting a good bit of money when they don't really even deserve it, because a lot of teams have holes, and they just see, okay, a free agent who's a name I kind of recognize, let's just throw him a bag, and we got to fill this hole. That's kind of what happened with Brandon Stevens. Hashtag Ravens, do you think Carl Lawson, the edge, is a good free agency pickup? I think at this point, I don't think he'd be bad. I don't think you'd have to pay that much money to get him. That's a good call right there, Squiddy. With Darius Slay, can the Ravens still overpower the Steelers' defense? Yeah, I think so. Slay's good, but he has his flaws as well. I think the Aaron Rodgers retired. He's going to go into the media. Maybe like Pat McAfee show. Yeah, he might do like an Aaron Rodgers podcast. The thing is he's made such enemies in the media itself, like ESPN. I don't think he would ever do anything like that. I just don't know if anybody would want to hire him because of the person that he is. Aaron's ego is so inflated, he'll probably be an actor or something. Could we see a Jair Alexander trade? Maybe, but I don't think Green Bay is going to actually trade him because they haven't really found a suitor for him. I think he's going to be a post-June 1st cut for them. I think he's going to end up just getting released. Luis says, what do you think ends up happening with Tucker? I don't know, Luis. I really, really don't know. It's been a crazy situation, a lot of allegations, a lot of statements. As of right now, he's still claiming they're false, and the accusers, all 17 of them, are still claiming that he did those things. So that's where we stand right now. Yep, that's about all we're going to do with that. As a Ravens fan, I would be scared against the Rams. Rams don't scare me. Papa shook because his ego's so inflated he's made to pursue politics. How's your day going, says Quinn. Quinn, it's going great. How's your day going? Thanks for asking. Really appreciate that. Can we get one more sub? Can we get one more sub? 28,640. Who's going to get us there? Put us over the top. We got 58 people watching. I know that not all 58 of you guys are subscribed. And if you're subscribed, go ahead, do me a favor. If you're a real one, this is for the real ones only. So if you're a fake one, plug those ears. If you're a real one, go ahead and hit that noti bell, okay? Turn on those notifications. That way, anytime we post a video, you get a notification. You get, people let you know. We let you know. Hey, we got a video going up. Go ahead and watch it, like it, do all those things. Don't we know who the Ravens are playing 2025? Yes, we do. We just don't know when they're playing them. But we know where and we know who. Great, no problem. Just know you. Matter a lot. People don't say that. Thank you so much, Quinn. I appreciate you. HH says J.K. Dobbins. I don't see that happening. Shout out to all of you guys who subscribed. Got us over to 28,640. Jack, how are we feeling? I got to get one more cut for the other one. And so I think let's go ahead and get out of here. If that's okay with you guys, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and Jack. It's been a fun little Tuesday live stream. We go a little bit longer than usual. Almost went about 2 hours. You guys asked me great questions. Free agency is a blast. Happy that I can take it all in with every single one of you guys. For producer Jack, for myself, Joey Petersen, y'all have a great day. God bless.